Well, hello. Good afternoon, Maverick traders. It's market roundup time. Joe with you here on the 4th of December. Let's jump on into a Wednesday. You guys know how this works. I want to break down the meaningful news of the day. Let's take a look at the markets technically and see if there's any trades that we can share with everybody.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
As we move into the market analysis, folks, you're going to see what we expected to happen actually did. Rob was talking about this yesterday. We've been talking about it for a little bit. That we did get into new highs. Let's jump into the daily news. So another bullish move in the markets pushes us into new highs. One of my favorite charting patterns, the ascending triangle pattern, it just played itself out perfectly. We also got a little Fed speak today. Powell came out and stated the economy is on track. Little hawkish, says that there's a little bit more than expected growth along with some sticky inflation, but it didn't seem like it was too big of a concern. And they feel like they are on track. The markets really didn't react to it one way or another. How did we finish? Well, Dow's up 0.69%, S&P up 0.61%. So this is a breakout of about 0.5%. The NASDAQ, the Q's over 1%, 1.3%. And it's been the leader for a long time. What I noticed, folks, with this move to the upside, it was nothing new, nothing different. Everything that has been doing well is continuing to do so. So I love it. For my traders that are out there that are bullishly exposed, you've just been kind of sitting there and let these things work for you if you're patient enough, depending on your expiration cycles. So the Russell up a little bit, 0.36%. Oil took a little bit of a pullback. I'm seeing energy and utilities weakening, right? But they're not collapsing. The sectors are just kind of pulling back. So I expect that to continue a little bit more. And then gold pretty much flat at 0.29%. Advanced decline line, 57% advancing, 39% declining. So a little bit more than you would expect to participate. However, when I get to the sector heat map, you'll see that it is still those big wigs definitely driving this train. 63% above the 50 MA and 37% below. So we're starting to see an outperformance overall in the majority as this bullish sentiment continues to push the markets. So let's take a look at the chart real quick, and you can see exactly what this is. This is a ascending triangle. It's one of my favorites, right? So we're back up here to resistance. We had a hiccup here. Rob talked about that yesterday. But instead of pulling back, the markets decided to consolidate and just blow through this and push higher. Now, I'd like to see a little bit more volume attached to this. You can see the volume was about in line, which means this could float a couple of days. But the majority of the time, folks, after we do extend or break out of a ascending triangle pattern, we will retest. In fact, take a look at this, guys. Here's another breakout. Now, it was on a gap, obviously a lot of news, political event stuff, but it did eventually fizzle out. It reached to an apex and pulled back, and it pulled back exactly to the breakout point. So I expect something like that over the next few days. It doesn't mean that it's going to turn around tomorrow, but it could slowly creep higher and then pull back. So just be a little bit cautious on adding anything too aggressively bullish here. I found a lot of overextended stocks. So you are kind of, if you feel like you're chasing, you probably are. So let's let that corrective action come in. Now, if you are bullishly positioned, just let it ride. Seriously, let it ride. This is one of those times to just let things go. Let's move over to the Qs. The same idea, just a little bit more aggressive, right? We know that they've been leading the way since the event as it popped up. Still had that pullback. Back to consolidation. Here's the ascending triangle pattern that I'm talking about. And yep, we popped up. Now the volume, once again, it's not blowing my socks off. It's just, hey, nothing's in the way to sell this thing. So it just moved higher. So I do expect this maybe 1 or 2 days or maybe a sideways day or start to pull back. So just be aware that is probably going to happen. So let's take a look at the heat map. And this also shows you it was very selective. The things that everybody's excited about are the ones that are continuing to push the markets higher. We got our NVIDIA here, our Amazon, Tesla, Google. You guys can read them. I don't have to read them to you. On the weaker side, it's pretty much utilities and energy, right? Just kind of pulling back. I haven't seen anything collapsing when it comes to the sector. There are some individual stocks. In fact, I got a couple to look at, but it's not like it's falling apart. It's just pulling back, and it's pulling back a little bit more aggressively. In fact, there are some utilities companies here that are kind of outperforming. So it's pretty selective. The overall motion of the ocean is definitely to the bull side still. Let's take a look at our market outlook. And it is definitely a +3. You could see this ascending triangle pattern here. It's broken out. That's fine. It's up, 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 and up. Now, I kept it at a +1 for the weekly outlook. I can go to 0 here if you wanted to, just to be cautious. I just want you to be cautious. I don't want you to try to fade this thing. I don't want anybody to try to short things off the high, but maybe kind of pump your brakes if you're looking to get into anything bullish. I do have some bullish trades you can take a look at. In fact, one, when we take a look at it, is I'm looking kind of at a +1 trade situation. I just feel like I'm chasing anything with +2, +3 until I see some sort of correction or at least consolidation. So there's my hesitation on the weekly outlook. But overall, monthly, folks, man, if you've just made a mistake to the upside, it's working out for you no matter what. So let's get into our potential trades. I like Delta Airlines, CrowdStrike. Look at this, IBM, Spotify, Netflix. I mean, they're all just these big names. They all look pretty good. A couple of them are breaking out into new highs. Schlumberger, or I like to call it Schlumberger, it's in the energy sector, but it seems to be consolidating. Now, I know it's kind of fun to try to play something sideways, but in my case, when I look at sideways trades, I need confirmation for it to go back up before I call it sideways. So this could be sideways or bearish. We'll take a look at it here, and then look at that at the bottom, though. Energy and utilities, Eni, Valero, EXC, Echelon, right? So Southern Company. So it's just kind of where it's at. So there's nothing exciting, nothing different, nothing out of just ordinary. So let's take a look at our first trade. This is CrowdStrike to the upside. It's a +1 trade. And why I like that is because I do feel like CrowdStrike can actually maybe revisit or climb back up to this 377 mark. I don't see it as something that's broken out that can turn around. Now, it absolutely could. It could consolidate it or could pull back and kind of retest this 345 and move sideways. So +1 trades, please. Slightly out of the money horizontal spread, a diagonal spread, a vertical spread. Nothing too aggressive. And make sure that you're aware of this target here at that 377 mark. So I think maybe a diagonal or horizontal might probably be the best play here because it could easily just kind of, meander around this area for a little bit before it starts to move higher. But as far as trades go that I found for today, based on what I'm seeing in the markets, that's a pretty decent one. So moving over to the sideways, this is Schlumberger, like I like to call it. And this is, let's see if I can draw the box here. So this is the area that I think of consolidation for more of a sideways trade. Now, folks, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Until I see a reversal signal, something like this, I need to see a reversal signal here that supports this line before I would get into a sideways trade, because this could very easily roll over and start to move to the downside, right? This is in the energy sector, which is weak, and it's showing a little bit of weakness right now. So I'm patient with my sideways, and even when I do them, they are shorter term. I don't think I do a sideways more than 2 weeks out. More of like a week, week and a half is where I'm most comfortable. So just be cautious, but it's just kind of an idea there. If you don't like sideways right here, you don't have to trade any. I got a lot of traders that don't, so that's fine. Let's get over to our bear. This is Echelon Corp. Once again, utilities, energy, same idea, but this just seems a little bit better. Now, it looks like it's starting to slip, right? We have a little bit of a shadow, and I'm going to cast your eyes way back here. That's why I kept this zoomed out. It's because you can see there is a support level right around that 37.5 mark. I'll draw it all the way over here. So you can see it's got a lot to toy with. Now, I don't expect it to do anything like this. In fact, I expect it to kind of bleed lower unless the markets really turn and take a surge to the upside and we see another round of selling in utilities and energy. I'm not expecting a huge drop. So this is definitely another -1, right? +1 on the upside, -1 on the downside. I'm not looking at +3s or -3s. So an out of the money calendar spread, a diagonal spread with a weekly expiration, things of that nature, something tight, something slow, and don't over target. Maybe even a credit spread in the short term. So I'm not really excited about adding giant trades here or putting my portfolio to work because we are overextended, like Rob mentioned yesterday. And so far, the markets are doing exactly what we expect them to do. So we move into new highs, ascending triangle breakout, one of my favorites. But after a breakout, the move that I'm expecting is consolidation or corrective action or pullback. Now that does give us opportunity to the bull side if we see some of these extended stocks correct. So be patient. That's what that second bullet point is. Don't jump into all these bulls that are breaking out because you are probably chasing at this point. So the Fed feels, I know that's a weird word, but the Fed feels they're on track, but acknowledges a little. And Fed speak is pretty much really followed when it comes to some of the with how the markets react. No reaction to what Powell said, because the stronger than expected growth and some sticky inflation, it shows that we're still good, right? But it didn't change our mind on continuing to cut rates as necessary, at least in December. Jobless claims, unemployment rate, consumer sentiment's all coming up over the next few days. I don't think we're going to see much anything different than what we're seeing. A push to the upside, maybe a little bit of corrective action, some profit taking, and then another move up. Sentiment's pretty bullish. It's pretty stable. So I don't expect too much change. Check potential trades. I believe there's some coming up. I think Lulu's coming out. I didn't really see them all, folks, but just make sure that you're aware that there are earnings out there, especially if you're going to make a trade, just double check. All right, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.